The Syntakt, I finally had a proper go at it, and I like it. Based on past videos that I saw of the Syntakt, I was definitely not blown away by it, and especially by the sounds. In particular, the melodic sounds are still, I'm still kind of grappling with those. I also didn't like the fact that you're pretty much locked into whatever digital engine that you're using. So let's say on the synth page, there's a bunch of different parameters for each synth. Unlike the Digitakt, which is definitely one of my favorite machines, where you're not limited in that way. You could just use a sample in any way that you want, use a one-shot sample, just drop it in there. So in that case, the possibilities are limitless. I'll start with a general overview and just my understanding of the unit as is right now. If you're already familiar with the elektron world, you could see like where elektron sort of pulled from other units and added into the Syntakt. These four voices down here are analog, and again, they each have their own engine, and in terms of sonics and controls, they are straight from the analog rhythm. So no complaints there. These sound amazing. And then there's 8 digital tracks up here, some of which you can see are melodic, others are drums. My favorite melodic engine is definitely the synth tone. So actually, let me just solo that along with the kick. We'll for sure have at least 1 or maybe 2 tracks dedicated to that engine. Whereas some of the other melodic synths or engines, maybe it's just because I haven't spent enough time with them, I haven't fell in love with them in the same way. Another thing that really stood out to me that is specific to the Syntakt is this effects section here, so the effects routing. In this section, you could choose whatever effects you want to be affected, and then you have these different blocks of effects to affect them with. So there's an LFO, there is an amp. This is useful for ducking or like a sidechain sort of effect. You also have delay and reverb on this page as well. Filter, effects drive. I noticed that this page is like pretty much completely empty, so I'm assuming that they're going to be adding things to it in the future. I don't know. You could use this in a very simple way, just as a straight up effects unit. Let's say just hanging out on the amp page with delay. Right, so there's only those 4 tracks that are being affected. So you can do things like that, add drive to this. But it doesn't end there. This is a whole new layer or sequencer where you could lock in or param lock these effects into that sequencer, effects that are coming from each of these effects blocks. Another thing that I really like is the LFO section, which is really tailored to whatever engine you're using. So let's say on this voice in particular, the first LFO options that come up are the synth LFO options, which is this page, right? At this point, I'm changing the modulation of this synth tone. And if you could hear that within the groove, let's actually just solo that. It's very subtle, but there's a little bit of modulation going on there. Let's make it a little bit more intense. And just because these synth pages are so descriptive, I find myself spending the most time on these pages specifically. Most of everything that I need is right here. So all of this being said, I can definitely confirm that the Syntakt is a unit that's really easy to get lost in the sauce, especially because you're working with an elektron sequencer. If after this video you're like, I want one, please consider using the affiliate links in the description of this video. That would be a huge support to this channel, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And of course, a huge thanks to anyone who's already been using my affiliate links in past videos. A huge thank you to you guys. You do not go underappreciated. So as you can see, I've dialed in my sounds here. What I've actually done is copy this pattern over to here. And so I'm using the same sounds more or less, and we're gonna create a beat from scratch. So we'll start with our kick. I'll throw that down 4 on the floor. The cool thing about this kick is when I change the decay time, if I pull it in like this, so that becomes a really short kick, somewhere in the middle it becomes like a rumbly kick. So this pretty much covers the bass as well as the kick. In terms of tune, I really usually try to stay around -6, -5. That's my sweet spot. And of course, if we want to function machine, I could just switch these kicks out. I'm gonna stay with BD hard because I find that we're in a good place right now. From here we have this. This is actually a snare drum, believe it or not. There, it sounds more like a snare drum. And what I've been using it for is almost like a tasty little tom, quick sounding tom. We could even throw an LFO on here, controlling the filter frequency. because there are so many voices, it's always good to start small. I'm not just going to start filling all the slots in or all the steps. And from here, we could even go to trig probability and change some of these around. So this will be, let's say, the first of 2 times. Let's go over to the synth page and see what we could change here. Amp, let's say on this note in particular. And this, because now it has a bit more character to it, it takes a bit more space. This will play the second of 2 times. Okay, we're done with the snare. The rim sound, this is one of my favorite sounds of the analog rhythm as well as the Syntakt. I love the rim sound, it's just so good. Okay, again, we're gonna be sparse with this, take away some of that delay. Something I love to do is play something on an obvious beat. So here it's playing on the upbeat. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. And then have something set up that beat, the step before. So let's say this, filter, pull that filter down on that step. Already we're getting somewhere. This is basically a crash. So I want that on beat 1, the first of 8 times, let's say. I don't want that crash playing too often. So we have our like sort of slithery, gut punchy drums down here with the analog sounds. Hi-hats. That's cool, you can already hear that there's a bit of delay on these hats. Let's see how we could change them a little bit though. Let's play a little bit with that decay, just on that last one. And all the rest will be super tight. This hi-hat's interesting, it has like an FM sort of quality to it. I do like this alien animation, that's very cool. So, more alien. Less alien, I guess. Abduction. I want to throw an LFO on that modulation. So let's LFO modulation. Yes. And we'll make this completely random. Because it's such a short note, it's kind of hard to hear what it's doing. Let's actually open these up and you can really hear now what it's doing. Obviously that's just too much, so let's actually shorten it up again. I kind of like that it's very subtle what it's adding. I'm really liking this, this is great. Okay, so let's add a melody. These could be our 2 melodic voices. And big surprise, I want this voice to be in an odd time. So function, page, and then function, yes, to separate the sequence length per track. I'm gonna change this length to 7 steps. You'll notice that it still feels like it's resetting in an even time. It's not an odd time. So function, page, we're gonna change the pattern length, this one here, to 128. Let's hear it again. Right, so now after 128 steps, it will reset. This is cool, I like this sound. But I want a little bit more of a melody. It's gonna sound atonal, but it'll still be a melody. This is really just about trial and error and finding a melody that you like. I'm just gonna do this atonally, chromatically, 100%. Let's add some delay to that. That's cool. Obviously, these are monophonic voices. I want a little bit of harmony here. So synth tone, I actually have it already on this track here. I'm gonna go into function page again. Length, we're gonna make this a 14-step pattern. So we have a little bit more space with our repetitions and trig conditions. Okay, let's try this, different notes. So there's a lot going on there. Let's try and pan this. This one will be to the left, this one to the right. A little side note about this like retrig thing down here. So whatever track that you're on, if you want to retrigger it, this could be like a live sort of thing. Let's go back to our first pattern, which to me, it just sounds a little bit cleaner. And we're gonna take a shot at the effects routing now. Let's just effects the analog drums. So everything's playing, effects, boom, 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 boom. There we go. These are our effects blocks here. So we could add a little bit of drive. What about filter? is that in this section as well, if we want to, we can still mute our parts. So yeah, this actually does make for a really cool live effects station, I guess you'd call it. Let's throw an LFO onto here, maybe get some sort of panning thing going with the melodic things. There we go. So that is the extent of my knowledge of the Syntakt, my very first real session with it. And now, a word from today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're watching this video, chances are that you'd like to officially release your music to all major streaming platforms. So first off, why choose DistroKid? They are hands down the most affordable music distribution platform in the game. We're talking like just over 20 bucks a year affordable to release unlimited music. And by the way, on top of that, I also have a discount for you linked in the description of this video. You collect 100% of your streaming royalties with DistroKid, another huge plus, and they're designed specifically for independent artists and producers. How, you may ask? Well, here's a list of tools that they offer that will help you with at least some of the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting your own music independently. For example, there's Hyperfollow, which is a free landing page that I've personally been using for years now across all of my social media. It's similar to a Linktree type of situation where you can lead people to specific pages or maybe different social medias. You can post video content, maybe a link to your latest single, and you can create an unlimited amount of landing pages at no extra cost. DistroKid also offers promo cards, another free tool that you could use to promote your music on social media. So many other features, and again, just over $20 a year. To me, it's a no-brainer. If you're looking for a music distributor, well, now you know where to go. Sign up using the discount linked in the description of this video.